This is the movement. The movement.
All right, camera. This is me. I'm sorry I interrupted the flow of the thing.
Of the thing.
All right.
Y'all don't know what we doing.
I don't know what you guys doing,
But where are we? Tell them where we at.
we're right here.
I know.
Ital Kitchen.
Oh,
That's
Ital
the place
Kitchen.
to be here in Crown Heights, Brooklyn, New
Okay.
York, the United States. There
Thank
we
you.
go.
All right. Peace out.
Peace out.
I'm Sophia. I'm an author. I'm a mother. I'm a woman. I'm your sister.
And you're pretty. So.
Oh, thank you. And you're handsome too. God bless you. Yeah.
Don't get captivated. She is beautiful, which was another vain reason, because you want your audience to, like the visuals and what they're seeing. But again, because you are so honest online, I knew that you wouldn't mind having an open conversation. I knew that you wouldn't mind telling your truth, because where I thought this was a mystery, it's actually a story, a biography of your life.
True story. My authentic self, raw, unveiled, naked truth.
So in the unveiled, naked truth, I asked everyone recently, at you mind if I say your age?
Oh no,
At
definitely
48?
not. 48. I'm not 48 yet, but I
Okay,
would say
well, at
48.
47, going
48.
48.
48.
What's that? When were you on your own?
I've been on my own to, I would say 16,
Okay.
but officially 18.
And when did you have your first child?
16, I was pregnant.
Okay, so let's say 22. What do you know now? Just one lesson that you know now that you wish you knew at 22 that could have made a different direction or just more of an impact if you knew.
Not to be led by my emotions.
Why you say that? Because that's an interesting one.
Being impulsive and reacting from a strength of feelings. Now I don't.
They say though we're women, so they say we're emotional, even though I think that men are a lot more emotional than women.
You know
are.
what? I don't think it has anything to do with women or men. And yes, it's true that we're more emotional because we're mother, we're more nurturing, we feel more, we have more depth. So that's the reason. However, now I rationalize more. I calm down more before I respond to something. Because sometimes in the heat of the moment, when you're feeling something, you're not thinking straight. So at 22, I think I reacted more. Now I'm more proactive instead of reactive.
Okay. I think that you had that light bulb moment that you knew or that you learned that maybe you shouldn't react so quickly or not be so emotional about things, not take things so personal.
I'm an extremist. I'm either extremely quiet or I'm extremely vocal. Say, my light bulb moment, it's not one circumstance, it's not 1 year, it's a process.
Okay.
Light bulb moments, the light is on, but it's on then it's off. It's on but it's shining, meaning it's a continuation of the light bulb. When I hit about 37,
Okay.
I made a decision because I know people that's in their 70s that's doing the things that they were doing at 20. So I'm not going to use age.
Okay.
I'm going to
Okay.
use the stage,
Okay.
the
Oh, I
level,
like that.
the mental
Okay.
stage. Because
Okay.
you can be 100 years old and still having a conversation and using vocabulary and words and terminology that you were using at 20. So it's not the age.
Okay.
It's the stage. And you have to make a decision that, listen, this is not working for me.
I just realized
Yes.
when I asked you, did you smoke? And you was like, no, I'm high on life.
Yes.
I'm thinking that's just something that you
Yeah,
said.
yeah.
But as I'm looking at your shirt, I guess that's a mantra of yours.
No, it
That
is.
I'm high on life.
I'm-
And because, this is called Natural Sessions and we do the occasional smoke, I thought stereotype, you Caribbean.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
she's going to feel right at home.
Yes.
She's going to have her own. But no, you are a believer of being high on life. And how did high on life transition to Ladies by the Well?
Ladies by the Well originally was from the Bible.
Okay.
Yeah, but for me, Ladies by the Well is any area or any circumstance in your life that allows you to look within yourself and make some changes. So even though it was originally from the Bible, it's been a part in your life that you have to make a decision and figuring out how you're going to transform your life to where you want to be a better person, a more soulful person. So that's basically where Ladies by the Well comes from. For me, I should say. My story, as a reference to their life. And there may be some people that's not too keen about me writing about my life and opening up so much and inviting the public, in private areas of my life. But for me, it's okay. I'm fine with it.
Can you give us an example of what somebody is not too happy about of you that you're sharing?
Well, when I just came out with the book, which is over 7 years, one of the person that I asked to read the book was my son.
Okay.
And
Your only son.
my
Your
only
first
son.
one.
Yeah, my only son. And you have to remember that my son is a God-fearing man. He's a youth pastor, so
Wow.
he's
The one you had at 16.
yes. So he was like, "Oh, Mom, that book is too graphic. No one, no Christian, no church is going to invite you to come and speak on that book." That's what he said to me. The first set of people that invited me to have a public speaking was a church.
Wow.
So sometimes you just have to go with your flow. And I wanted to be offended when he said that, because that's my son. I want him to be proud. I want him to, even though he knows that, the book is about truth and everything, because, most of what I went through, he was there along the journey. I had to respect what he said and know that, okay, this is my truth and this is my story, and I had to follow my flow. So
That's tricky.
yeah, I
Because,
love myself.
okay.
And every day I'm loving myself more, So I just be myself. I don't care what people think about me as long as I'm being authentic.
And how many daughters do you have?
I have 5 daughters and 1 son. I have 6 children.
So how does that transcend that I love myself to your daughters? Because I think that we assume that as aggressive or as open and loving ourselves, mothers or women, that just assumes that our daughters or our children are going to feel the same way about themselves. How old are your girls?
I have 4 biological children and 2 are adopted.
Okay.
So that's
And what's the age range?
my eldest is 31. That's my son.
Okay.
And my first daughter is 19.
Okay.
My 2 adopted is 15 and 13.
Okay.
And the last 2, which are the twins, are 3.
Okay, so not the 3,
But the other ones, the older ones, they are at a point of that transitional age of questioning or coming into themselves.
Instilling someone. It's something has to grow and be embedded within you. So when somebody loves themselves. A
Do you think your girls have established that yet?
They are working on it.
Okay.
They're not there yet.
Okay, so how are you still, planting those seeds? And not only actually having a
Yeah.
13-year-old and assuming that
Guided.
she would. Okay.
and forcing things that I know is better for them. So it's guidance. It's not about telling them, but it's more like showing them and allowing them to feel the love for themselves. To have my son at 16 years old. Back then in Jamaica, you weren't allowed to go to school if you're pregnant. And that was one of the things that I spoke about for years, that we should have. A couple of years ago, I went back to Jamaica, and there it was. High schools for pregnant girls. They were in maternity uniforms. They were going to school, not dropping out after having the baby. They have a daycare on board to help them with their child. This is something I articulated 31 years ago, and people laughed at me and said it would never happen. And it's happening right now. Because we cannot brush sex under the table. It's going nowhere. Sex is beautiful. Sex is joyous. Sex is spiritual. Sex is embracing. Sex is healthy. You know, if it's done in the right way with the right person, and both people are open for it. You know, so sex is not going anywhere.
So what did you do? 16, you're pregnant.
Dropped out of high school. So all my dreams are now on hold. My parents are disappointed. My teachers are disappointed. The young man is going on with his life, and I'm here sitting 9 months waiting to have a baby.
And you're back, and you're still in Jamaica.
And I'm still in Jamaica.
Okay.
And out of that, I had my son. And
how'd you do it?
You know what? I couldn't be sitting here today being positive about my life right now if I didn't have a support system.
Okay.
And my support system was my mother.
Really?
Yes.
Even in her disappointment?
Even in her, she was so disappointed she got married. I wasn't invited to the wedding. Yes, that's how disappointed she was. My friends were invited, but I wasn't. And I think maybe that was embarrassment, because she had so much dreams for me, and she got pregnant at 16 too. So she was trying for me not to follow that pattern.
So how has your daughter at 19 not gotten pregnant? How has she been able to maybe break a cycle?
I think the difference with my parents and my parenting now, I'm open with my children. I don't hide nothing from my children. I let them know what happened to me. I let them read my book. I share, you know, I let them know about birth control. I let them know if you're dating someone, introduce them to me. I don't want you on the street side hanging out. I don't want you to hide and have sex in a car or in the movie theater. I want you to talk to me, so I can guide you and encourage you and, you know, advise you. And you don't have to take my advice. They don't have to take my advice, but my role as a mother is to let you know what are the pros and the cons of your decision. So that, I think that's the difference with my children. I don't hide birth control from them. I don't hide protection. I let them know, you know, what's going to happen if you make that decision. And I also let them know, listen, if you get pregnant in my house, you're going to school until the day the baby is delivered. And after that, you're going to school with the baby on your hip. So the decision is theirs. You know, so I don't hide anything from them. I keep it real with my children. Yeah. And I guess that was the difference with my parents. Nobody spoke about birth control. Nobody spoke about sex. Nobody spoke about the reality of a boy and a girl coming together. I told my mother I have a boyfriend. I introduced my boyfriend to my mom. So it's not like, oh, we didn't know. Mom, this is someone I like. He likes me, and we're going out, and I just want you to meet him. Okay. Okay, the next conversation should be, if you guys plan on having sex, these are the precautions.
And that wasn't the conversation.
Nobody had that conversation. All there was like, okay. And then when I show up pregnant, you're looking at me like, how that happened?
Right.
The same way how yours happened,
Right.
Mom. And grandma one
Right.
happened, Mom.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Which is, again,
Yeah.
another reason why we're doing the show.
Exactly.
Because it seems that when we're all doing the same thing,
Right.
and we're just repeating cycle after cycle of mistakes
Right.
that could be avoided
Right.
simply if someone shared
Right.
with me and gave me some honest example of what I'm concerned about. Do you share with your daughters?
Yeah.
Is masturbation. You know, and even the depth of that, again, there was never a conversation about any sort sort of learning your body,
Right.
understanding your body, feeling the transition that you're going to go through as a woman with emotions, not even as a woman, just as a person. Because male go through different transitions and no one's talking to them either. Young ladies in the house, you're teaching them how to be women, you're teaching them how to be ladies, you're teaching them how to be good people.
Right.
But when it comes to their bodies, are you open? You know, you say you open, but when it comes to that area, what conversation is that a conversation? Has it been a conversation?
It hasn't been a conversation. However, I don't look at the vagina as just one part of the body. The whole body is to be embraced.
Okay, I don't explain. That sounds very generic.
Okay. When people hear about masturbation, like you're putting it, is how to self-please yourself. But I think you can please yourself from just your thoughts.
Okay, so
You can make love. No.
Okay,
Let's
Sophia.
no. We can make love. You know you can make love and have an orgasm without even touching someone.
yes, when you're with someone.
Is that so? You can't just sit down and fantasize about making love to
I don't know,
someone.
can you?
Yes, you can.
Okay, so I'm assuming you have.
Yes.
Hold on.
Yes, you can. I don't teach my daughters anything actually about sex. I have an open door policy. If they need to speak to me about a particular subject, if there's no subject that's off the board, there's no subject that they can not be open to speak to me about. So if they have a question about masturbation, if they have a question about dating, if they have a question about being attracted to the same sex, any question my children want to talk to me, I want them to get the information from me and not on the streets.
But some topics children may not even think about. You know, I know for adults, I don't think it's a conversation that people are just not having. I
Right.
think it's, I get up, I make breakfast for the kids, I make breakfast for myself, I go to work, I come home, I make dinner, I go homework, I try to relax, I spend time with my partner, then I go to sleep, and I wake up and I do the same thing again. And then when
Right.
Saturday and Sunday comes, I'm trying to do household chores, I'm trying to run around and take care of extracurricular, I'm trying to go to programs with the kids. Your life becomes so full and so robotic
Right.
that those types of conversations is not even on the radar.
Well, you know, to be honest, it's so hard not to have these conversations. Why? Because our children are bombarded with all these information daily. It's in the music that
But
they
they're
listen.
bombarded with, that doesn't mean they're having the conversation with you.
Okay, well, I hear the music they're listening to.
Okay.
I see the shows they're watching. I see the things they see on the internet, and that's where I use that channel to open the conversation.
Okay.
What do you think about this?
Okay.
Or why did you react to this? Or what are your thoughts on this? And that's when we have conversations
Okay.
about awkward subjects
Okay.
like sex, masturbation, same-sex relationships, stuff like that. Because I don't want them to go around having one idea or thinking that what they learn on a show or what they hear their neighbors or their friends say, I want them to hear it from mom also, so they can filter out what works for them.
Because I think it goes back to, you know, your mother again saying, you know, how did you do such a thing?
Yes.
When, what do you mean, Mom? It happened to you and it happened to Grandma. Like, what do you mean? Why are you so shocked if you didn't prepare or have this conversation or make the time to do this? Not to say that it should have automatically happened, but it kind of, you know, was set up almost.
Well,
So-
to be honest, I don't think any parent is ready to know that their children are masturbating.
Well, no, I don't think we are, but I think that the reality
But
is...
the reality is, it's a reality.
Yes, and I think that when you don't address, and I don't
Right.
mean address, it seems like when I bring up the word masturbation and it becomes like,
Yeah.
oh my God, you know,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not the masturbation itself. Again, it's the understanding your body thing.
Exactly.
And I think when topics or little things like that, you know, because we don't want to think about our children. I don't want to think about my 13-year-old smoking weed or drinking Hennessy. But when she tells me that she was at a party with 13 and 14-year-olds and she was cleaning up their mess because they were drinking Hennessy and smoking weed, I'm like, you're 13.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So no, I don't have a conversation with my 13-year-old about smoking or masturbating or same sex when over the summer we go to the movies and I'm that soccer mom that goes and takes all the girls. I met one of their young friends who's either transgender or a lesbian, but kind of dykish way, and again 13. You know what I mean? And yes, I know it's out there, but I haven't met one of her friends. I didn't know, and I know that it's there.
Right.
But I don't, when I go to school for the games or PTA, I'm that's not what I'm seeing. That's not what I'm going there for. But it's in her peer group. It's in her friends. You know what I'm saying? Her network. And again, I say they're 13, and this is me finding out at 13.
Well,
so what happened at 12 and 11 and 10?
They're doing it younger. 9 and 8
point
and
exactly.
7, and we can't
My
run
point
from it because
exactly.
one, the food that they're eating is gonna bring up certain feelings much younger than when they were older. They're exposed to more things at a younger age, and you know what? I would rather my children explore their body
Okay.
than go out and have a boy or another girl explore it for them. So if they have to learn their body by touching and taking a shower and caressing and finding out what the different signals when they touch certain areas of their body, I'm fine with that. That's their body. Enjoy it, embrace it, love it, touch it.
Have you met boys yet?
I'm sorry?
Have you met boys yet?
No.
Okay.
I've heard little conversations, but I wasn't formally introduced
Okay.
to anyone yet.
Okay.
And that's cool. They're in
Okay.
love with people that they'll never see,
Okay.
like Chris Brown and Usher, and love Usher from a distance. I like that.
Okay.
So I'm okay with those little relationships that they have with the movie stars and the celebrities that I know they won't meet
Right.
unless they go to a concert. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So you don't think your teenagers have little boyfriends at school?
I think so. I think they have little boyfriends. I think my 19-year-old may have someone, but I haven't met anyone.
Okay.
But I know they're my girls, and I know them, and I know that they can't wait. Yeah, because I see their face when we're watching shows and when they're talk, how they're passionate about the opposite sex, and I know they're gonna be some pretty strong lovers. Yeah, it's the reality. You know, I just have to embrace myself. When it happens, it happens.
I know.
It's gonna
I
happen.
know it is, but I guess it's the same idea of them thinking that we do things. No child wants to know that they're part of the problem. I think in society and also repetitive through generation is having children or allowing children to grow up too fast and not just enjoying being a child, being youth. I say as soon as you start having sex or engaging in sex or engaging in a relationship that's going to eventually go down some type of intimacy, there's going to be the start out pecking,
Yeah.
the little touch here and there,
the little
the little
kisses.
kiss here. My daughter has boobs and butt, so I want to touch her butt. Next is I want to touch your titties. Next is I want to touch your vagina. I love you. I like you. We're doing this together. You know what I mean?
I totally agree
Normal
with you.
stuff,
I
normal
totally agree
stuff.
with you.
So, no, I'm not opposed to what is normally going to happen, but I feel like I don't want her to be in the dark, like you said, experimenting on her own or with her friends, because I'm not having these conversations with her.
Right.
Or like with my boys, I don't want EJ in college having sex, but at the end of the day, I know he's in college having sex.
Right.
You know, so it's yes, put a condom on, but it's put a condom on, but yo, you don't have to do anything. You know, so I just, like I said, this is my household, and again, what I'm afraid of is just the repetitiveness of things happening because we don't feel like the conversation needs to happen yet, or it's not important enough, or they're too young, or they'll find out on their own because we found out on our own. You know, and I think it can be scary. I think it could be lonely. I think, when we have these kids talking about suicide, or when we have these kids talking about bullying, I remember a couple of girls, wanting to fight when I was a kid. A couple, like one time, I think in 1st and 3rd grade, but I didn't have girls bullying me, and, I didn't have this, well, you gotta prove yourself, kiss a boy or kiss a girl. Like, I didn't have this stuff. My daughter's 16 with a boyfriend, even though she introduce me to him. Let me have some conversations with them. But no, she just introduced me, and then 9 months later, I come and say, I'm pregnant. What happened in between?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I understand you. I totally get it. Yeah.
So, but, you know, ladies by the well.
Yes.
You know, when did you said that was 7 years ago? What made you want to tell, like I said, your truth?
I didn't think I set out. I did not set out to write a book. Actually, I set out to filter, to vent, to have an outlet, and my outlet, fortunately for me, turned out to be a book. But that wasn't my main reason. You know, it was more like going back and getting in touch with the true Sophia, understanding her more, looking at my mistakes and what I could have done different, and examining my life. So that's how the book came about. It wasn't to be published, it wasn't to be sold, it was just my truth written. And I just followed my vision, and I started writing, and I sent it out to the publisher, and I published, and here we have the book, Ladies by the Well, and my stories in the book. So my first initial thing was not to write a book. It was for me to have a conversation with myself, and have a conversation with my creator, and have a conversation with the universe. And it's manifested into a book. I'm all about supporting. You know, that's me.
Do you get? Is it reciprocated? Because I know Alethea and I, we have that conversation a lot. That sometimes, you know, we support just because naturally that's who you are.
Yeah.
But there comes a disappointment. But earlier you mentioned not being so emotional and not taking things so personal. But can you, when you may not receive the support back, you think you should get, or do you get it?
I don't do anything for expectations. It's nice. It's a human thing. It's natural to be appreciative and people to, you know, reciprocate that same love that you've given them. But in most cases, that's not how it is. You'll find most people won't support your work. The people that say they're your friends won't support what you're doing. They won't buy your book. They'll just stay in the back and they'll look and they'll whatever, but they won't. So when you do something, make sure you're doing it from your heart. So who wants to support, thank you, and who don't want to support, that's fine, because I'm going to be okay. I'm a child of God. I'm always going to be taken care of.
No doubt.
So I'm not looking for, there are so many people in the world. You think my little handful of friends that don't support me is going to stop what God have planned for my life?
Amen.
I don't think so.
Dating play a part, or do you date?
Do I date? I don't have time to date. It depends. What is your definition of dating? What is your definition of dating? Do you want to ask me, do I have sex?
No.
What is your definition of dating?
Are you having sex?
Oh, I'm always going to be having sex until the day I die. That's not going to change. I love sex and lots of it, I must say. Okay? Dating, I may not have the time to go to the movies every week and go to dinner every week, but I make time for what's important. And when I want my quality time, I get it.
This is the movement.